What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another video, and today I'm gonna be reacting to the real LA Capone and RondoNumbaNine story documentary. And it's really tragic story what happened with these two, and it's really the definition of like the streets what it will get you. There was actually like a picture, even people talking about like Dirk, Rondo, and LA, the two scenarios of making it out the hood or the streets. When you really in that, because LA died, obviously Rondo got locked up for a long time, and Dirk made it out, and making it out is the rarest of the three. You know what I mean? If you really like in that deep for real. But LA, like I said, they both had a lot of potential. LA was really the truth too, I ain't gonna lie. He had like really natural talent. I think he was actually the most naturally talented like out of the entire drill scene. Like when I say talented, I mean like how good he started off. Like obviously he ain't really get to make that much music, so I do think some people are overall better. But like if he would have lived, I think he would have been better than everybody easily. Because when he first started, he was like hella good. You know what I mean? And he had like a really good flow. And he was only 16 in mostly all of his songs. There was only like a couple songs he was 17 because he turned 17 and then died a week later. And then yeah, so that's my thoughts on LA. And when it comes to Rondo, he was decent to me for real. Like I said, he either way he was gonna be big. No matter if people liked him or not. He had like that personality to and that hype music. So that was the main point of drill, anyways. You know what I mean? So yeah, they was both gonna be huge for real to me. Some of the biggest out. I mean, they still is out the drill scene, but they would have been way bigger. I'm about to see what's up with this dude. Make sure y'all comment below what y'all think. Like the video, subscribe, turn on notification bell and all that. You know what I mean? Got more videos coming. And check out my social medias, link in the description. I'm a Kush. That was a
Drill is a
one
style of
song.
trap music. It originated in the south side of Chicago in the early 2010s. Its lyrics are often based around drugs, gangs, and violence, which tend to fascinate the younger generation.
It's crazy.
It progressed into
Drill is really one of the most influential out of all genres in rap
the mainstream around 2012
or
following the
subgenres.
success of rappers
But
like Chief Keef. But there have been multiple other artists who had the potential to be superstars too,
real
who
shit.
never made it out of the south side. Two of those artists were LA Capone and Rondo No. 9.
That's them. LA and Rondo, man.
It
Remember
is a
that shit, man.
legendary
LA and
classical
Rondo, man.
interview right there. R.I.P. Jack, L.A. and Free Rondo, man. Nigga down. Make this song. L.A. was really young, man. Lay a nigga down.
Leonard Anderson was born September 18, 1996 in Chicago, Illinois. His parents separated when he was very young, so he spent his childhood with his mother and sisters. Because he was the only boy in the home, he had a special place there. His mother states when he was young, he and she both knew he would grow up to be something great. He was an honor roll student in school and was known for being one of the funniest
I think
kids in
that's his
class.
sister on the
He
side.
got interested in rap music at a young age, and because he was book smart, it helped him develop wordplay. If he wasn't at school, playing football, or hanging out with girls, he was rapping. Although he had been freestyling for years, as early as age 14, he began taking it seriously.
Oh yeah, that was the first song, Work. And that song was very good, like especially for a first song. So I say yeah, the most potential. Like
He came up with the name LA Capone. LA was a play on words for his initials, Leonard Anderson, and Capone came from the famous Chicago gangster Al Capone. As he grew older, the outside world became more accessible, and the streets of Southside Chicago welcomed him. He would join the Black Disciples, and more specifically, started repping 600, or D Block. 600 was a group from 60th and King Drive, just blocks away from O Block, and in their prime was one of the most dangerous and talked about sets. But with this kind of reputation, it's no secret that they had ops, and they were at war with multiple other gangs. Around this time, LA would become close with another Black disciple from 600, Clint Macy or Rondo No. 9.
LA was really the hardest 600. You feel me? Like after he died, everything fell apart.
big shoot, call it murder. Getting money, 24, I can't stop working. I'm a real nigga.
Little is known about Clint's childhood or family growing up, but what we do know is he too was born and raised in the South Side. By age 14, Rondo was already making a name for himself in the streets and picked up rapping. To paint the picture at the time, Chicago has just gained the nickname Chirac, which was a comparison to the deaths in Iraq. Drill music is becoming popularized throughout the entire US, and Chicago rappers were on top. Chief Keef, Glow Gang, Lil Bibby, G Herbo, and Lil Durk are all gaining popularity, and fast.
Facts, they was
Because
turned,
the
man.
600 boys in O Block were already clicked up, this gave LA and Rondo an opportunity to join forces with Lil Durk and his crew OTF, since they were already
OTF
friends.
had a hell of a roster.
Although they now had a vision and were ready to pursue it,
Dirt,
life in the streets was still
Rhonda,
dangerous.
Newski,
This
Vaughn,
proved to be
LA would have
true
been
on
someone
September
in there.
29, 2012, when LA Capone was shot multiple times, but he survived the attempted attack.
Yeah, it was September 29th, 2012. He got shot the first time.
Rondo would be the first one to get noticed by his music. His first mixtape, Rondo Lane, dropped in late 2012 and was better than most rappers' third or fourth tapes. With beats from Lex Luger, Young Chop, and DJ Ken, the quality was top notch. He was only 15 when this dropped, but because he was rapping about things he actually lived through, this was arguably one of the most honest and real rap releases that ever hit the internet. The tape was well received by the streets of Chicago and made Rondo's career something to look out for. LA Capone would also make his debut in rap with the feature on this tape. LA Capone's first song was Grimy, and his first music video was titled Work. They would
Oh, so Work came out after, but the one wasn't even on the net at first.
get a few thousand plays, but things really took off with the release of his song Murder. He even dropped it with the video. The song almost got a remix from Lil Reese himself.
When you get murdered,
With all
hurt
the
in the head,
attention they were now
holding his head, he a
getting, they started
dolphin. You ain't
dropping
with it,
singles
stop
back to
talking.
back.
Kinda.
LA Capone's So Loud was released in March and would be one of the first songs to bring his name outside the city. In July, Rondo would drop another mixtape hosted by the well-known DJ Victorious, titled Steve Drive. Not only did the mixtape blow up, but it had multiple standout songs like 600, We Don't Fuck Around, and Play for Keeps. All the songs did
Play for
millions of
Keeps,
views online
classic.
and was bringing the whole 600 set to the world's attention. They would go on a small tour with Lil Durk and were making plans to link up with other artists like French Montana and the Coke Boys.
Just those.
Although LA hadn't dropped a mixtape yet, some of his singles were getting tens of millions of views. LA started to take a more melodic approach when recording, and because of it, his music was standing out, even compared to the people around him. His fan base was
Telling
growing
y'all,
faster
LA
than
was
ever.
really that superstar, bro. Like he was gonna take them to the top, feel me? And then Rhonda, he's gonna be supporting cast. You know what I'm saying? He was doing his thing too. They was definitely some of the stars of 600. It felt way apart, dude.
With all these new fans, he knew it was time to start working on a full-length mixtape. His uncle would introduce him to a local studio so he could start working on it, and he helped cover the cost of recordings. In September of 2013, he celebrated his 17th birthday, but just a week later, his uncle dropped him at the studio to finish a track he was working on.
Make it.
When he got inside the studio, there were other people there as well, which was weird, because the owner of the studio had told him before, he only wanted him to come record if somebody else wouldn't be there, to avoid any
Damn.
potential conflicts. But
They
this
set
time
him
he
up.
invited him over, knowing people were there. LA recorded his last verse before leaving the studio around 6:30 in the afternoon. As he was walking through an alley near 70th and Stony Island,
Someone that was in the studio, I think, set him up actually. Yeah.
shots rang out and he was hit in his
They
right
called
thigh
up the
and lower
people.
back. He tried to run, but ended up collapsing. An ambulance rushed him to Northwestern Hospital, where doctors attempted to operate on him. While he was still
Bro.
conscious, his last words were, "I don't think I'm gonna make it. Tell my mom and them I love them." He would pass away later that night.
Damn, LA.
Word on the street spread so fast that by the end of the night, the 600 boys already knew 95% of the story and who might have been behind this. Rondo continued to drop music and grow in popularity all through 2013. His tape Real for Life was putting pressure on even some of the mainstream artists. Songs like Taliban would do huge numbers, and he continued to keep LA's name alive, along with all the guys from 600. Unfortunately, LA's first mixtape wouldn't come out until after his passing in 2014.
Press. Yeah, that
Separate Myself
John.
was an 18-track tape
That was
with
a
old
classic for real. There was no skips on that.
and new music that
That was
really
mostly all of his
showcased how
songs too.
versatile he was. Had he not been gunned down, this tape undoubtedly proved he would have been one of Chicago's next superstars.
Big
Rondo would still be
facts.
in the streets heavy, even though his music
Dirk
was
and
spreading
Keith, like
across the
after
US.
Keith, I'll say him.
He
Then
was
Dirk
even
in
catching
LA
the
was like up
attention of the
next,
feds
and
after
Rondo and
posting a
stuff.
picture on Instagram with the rocket launcher, proving there was no cap in his raps. Going
Where
into
did he even get that from?
2014,
The
Rondo would drop his highly anticipated Real for Life Part
government be
2.
dropping.
At this point, he was looking unstoppable, but just 2 days after this dropped, everything would change once again.
What? What was that joint? You
Real
talking
for
about that?
Life Part 2.
Yeah.
At this point, he was looking unstoppable, but just 2 days after this dropped, everything would change once again. On the 21st of February, Rondo and C-Day went to a party in the Wentworth projects with a few girls. The GDs, or gangster disciples, controlled most of the building here, so that alone showed how untouchable they felt. Eventually they left the party, but just shortly after, shots were fired in that building. The girls called the boys back to meet up at a Wendy's because they were scared. They split up into 2 cars and headed back into gangster disciple territory
Damn.
in an attempt to get retaliation for the girls who were just shot at. When they got back into the GD territory, they passed by a parked cab driver who was waiting to pick up a customer. Rondo and C-Day's vehicle did a U-turn and pulled up on the cab driver. They hopped out and proceeded to ask him if he
They
was
kill
from
him
the
for
area,
no reason.
looking
For
for revenge. When the driver responded yes, Rondo or C-Day opened fire, shooting 28-year-old Javon Boyd until he died.
I never understood that. They thought he set up LA or something. Meanwhile, it was a nigga that
Just
was in the
weeks later,
studio.
both Rondo and C-Day were arrested and held on a $2 million bail. Despite the efforts of Chief Keef, Lil Durk, and their fans calling to free Rondo and C-Day, the evidence against them was solid. Not only did a surveillance camera catch the entire incident, but C-Day's fingerprints and cell phone were found on the scene of the crime.
I don't, bro.
On top of
Folded
it,
on
Rondo
that
was
one.
wearing a tiger print tracksuit that made him easy to identify on camera. Inevitably, Rondo was given 39 years, and C-Day was given 38. Although
What
other
was the
artists
difference between the year? Like they gave him an extra year. I don't know. But Freedom, man, they definitely folded and killed an innocent person, most likely to.
from 600 would come to rise after LA and Rondo, it's safe to say they were the ones who helped pave the way. As teenagers who rapped in an attempt to make it out of one of the harshest neighborhoods in America, they almost made it. 3 men were
Environment.
convicted for taking part in the killing of LA Capone. Had LA been alive today,
Them
it's easy to
051,
say he had the
man.
potential to be Chicago's next superstar, due to how versatile he was.
Wait, what he said?
Rondo potential to be Chicago LA Capone. Had LA been alive today, it's easy to say he had the potential to be Chicago's next superstar,
Easily.
due to how versatile he was.
Easily, bro.
Rondo will be behind bars until 2056 for the shooting and killing of an innocent man. Had he not committed this senseless act, he had the potential to be the 600 Boys' biggest artist. Even though it's been almost 10 years, both of these artists are still talked about. They will be remembered as pioneers in the drill scene.
Damn, man. That's really a sad ass story, bro. I ain't gonna lie. And it's crazy because LA knew Lil Yachty too. Like, imagine if he would have stayed down in Atlanta and, he became like an Atlanta rapper and stuff like that. Because he lived down there back then. RPLA, man, for sure. Free Rhonda, you know what I'm saying? It's one of the more tragic stories from the drill scene. Let me know what y'all think about that, though. Once again, don't forget to subscribe and all that. I really appreciate it. And, I'll be dropping different videos. I drop clips on here, reactions. Sometimes I discuss things, you know what I mean? So, we got a little variety. So make sure if y'all like them type of things that you subscribe and all that. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Remember, y'all, stay positive and have a great day.